Hi yogis, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about Hanuman. And if you've been practicing with me for a while, you will know that Hanuman is one of my favorite deities to talk about and to kind of work with in our practice. He was definitely the first kind of deity, the first kind of mythology I was exposed to. So I have a great affection for him, and I thought it would be a really nice way to round up our first Myth and Asana series with a little bit of Hanuman love. So for those of you who do not know, Hanuman is a half man, half monkey god, and there are so many stories about Hanuman and his devotion and his strength and his leadership and his kind of great warrior abilities. But what I wanted to talk about is his kind of moment of this need of reassurance. So you may know that Hanuman is associated with the front splits, Asana. And we're not going to be practicing that today, but the story goes that Hanuman was to make this giant leap from India to Sri Lanka to save a princess that had been captured. And he was about to make this leap, and he takes a moment where he gets down on the ground, he's on his knees, and he just asks for the strength and looking for that reassurance. Is he the right one for this job? Is he going to be able to make it? Is he going to be able to do it? And this is where this hero pose or saddle pose in our yin practice will come into play a little bit as we move in our asana. But ultimately, Hanuman is able to make the leap. He is completely the right, I want to say person, but he is completely the right deity for this job. He is completely capable. He has the strength. He has the ability. And what I think we can all really relate to are those moments of self-doubt, the moments where we kind of take this pause and we think, are we really going to be able to do this? And whether that kind of manifests itself in things like imposter syndrome, whether it's just those moments where you kind of have that shaky doubt before you do something new or something slightly different to what you may normally do. So today's practice, we're going to be looking at that side of Hanuman. So even though he is so great, so strong, so powerful, like us, he's still allowed these moments where he's a little bit unsure, where he needs that reassurance, where he kind of second guesses himself, which is a really nice human side to him as this kind of super powerful, super capable figure in the Hindu mythology. So let's get started with our practice. And we're going to start sitting on a block. It might be 1 or 2 blocks. If you don't have a block, the edge of a chair will be fine. And so I'm going to grab a second. Make sure that you're comfortable, you're able to sit in kind of like a squat-like position. So take the feet out a little bit wider than your hips. And let's just sit here for a moment, just kind of settling into this shape. You might kind of rock the legs from side to side, play with the position so you've got a nice, stable pelvis. Lengthen the spine, feet planted on the ground, and see if we can track the knees so that they are kind of heading in the same direction as the toes. Pelvis in a comfortable position, so we have this long spine all the way up to the neck and the crown of the head. And take a few breaths here, feeling solid and stable. So like Hanuman, you might have these moments in your day-to-day life. You might kind of be pursuing something new where you have this, oh, am I able to do this? And that might be something that really is triggered quite easily in your mind. And it might be something that we kind of approach later on in our lives, another day. And so if and when these moments happen, let's look to Hanuman. Let's invite Hanuman into our lives. Allow him to offer up his strength, his ability, his power. And let us feel that within ourselves as well. Knowing that we are truly capable, we are truly able. And these moments of self-doubt are normal, but that doesn't make our abilities any less. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Letting your eyes blink open if you have them closed. Let's begin by playing with that internal rotation. So keeping the leg nice and stable, rocking to that big toe side of the foot, letting the knee drop in. We're moving here from that ball and socket joint of the hip. So you might want to use your hands there. So it's not the ankle, it's not the knee doing the work. We're trying to find that rotation into the hip, and use your hands there to get that moving if you need to. As you rock your leg in, see if you can keep the opposite leg, the one that isn't moving still. So don't let it drop out or drop in. See if we can completely isolate the movement and just work one hip at a time. All right, a couple more times each side. And so let's begin to hold this shape a little bit. So we're really working that internal rotation, which is going to come into our hero pose, the Hanuman pose. So as you come to your internal rotation, find as much internal rotation as you can. Keep the hips square to the front so we're not rolling or twisting. You're staying stable on your block. That's why a nice solid foundation is super important. Find as much internal rotation as you can. Hold it there at that end range. Maybe you've got really lovely internal rotation. Maybe this is a struggle for you. So whatever degree, work with it. Release. Let's try the other side. So find that. You might notice that one side has a little bit more than another, and that's going to be just dependent on how you use your body, what your body is used to, as well as anything else you've got going on. And release. Give those legs a little bit of a shake out. And so planting your feet in that kind of squat position, a little bit externally rotate. Grab the left ankle with the right hand, take a twist. So again, hips are square, torso is twisting. We're trying to keep that twist in the upper part of the back. Reach the left arm over. Take as much of a stretch as you can, trying to bring your ribcage and your hip toward one another. You can move your head, neck, chin, wherever you need to go, as long as it's comfortable. Your feet are pressing into the mat, so the legs are on here. Lift up. And release. Let's take it to the other side. Left hand to your right ankle, foot, wherever it's landing. Find that twist first. Hips are stable. Reach the arm up, lifting up out of the shoulder socket so we get that nice juicy stretch. And then it's the left hip and rib cage trying to meet one another. Breathe in, really expanding the lungs so we get that super lovely stretch as we take a deep breath in. Lift up. Have a little roll through the shoulders, maybe a little bit of a cat-cow through the spine. Let's move away from the block here. We can take that away. Lay on your back. And again, we're going to practice a little internal rotation. So I like to have the block with the second widest setting, but you might want to go narrower. Squeeze the block in between your legs and set your legs up so that your knees are stacked over your hips. Pelvis is tucked, the low back's on the mat. Shoulders are untucked. One leg at a time again. So let's start with the right leg. The left leg's going to stay still. Internally rotate. So you're squeezing that block and you're trying to move that leg internally. So the foot's going to come off the right edge of the mat. And then release. Bring that back to center. Again, squeeze the block. Right leg internally rotate. Keep squeezing. Find that max range of motion without moving the legs. Release. One more time, internally rotate. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Come back to center. You can have a little windshield wiper. Let the block release. So we're waking up those internal rotators, those internal leg muscles, or those inner leg muscles that often get neglected in our day-to-day life, and even in our yoga practice sometimes. Squeeze the block once again. And our left leg's internally rotating. Try and keep your shins parallel, release. Internal rotation left side again. So that the foot's not dropping down. We're keeping everything in that lovely 90-degree angle. Release. One more time, squeeze the block. And internal rotation. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Find that max range hold. Good. Release. Shake out the legs, windshield wipers. Okay. Let's see if we can internally rotate both legs at the same time. So if you think about it, this already is setting us up for that saddle position, that hero position. This is the shape our legs make. So as you squeeze your block, internally rotate both legs. The only thing different here is we don't have that load on the hips by sitting down in between them, but we are creating the shape. So you're already doing a version of hero in this position. Squeeze the block, find as much range, really use the effort to hold that max range. So if you keep trying to find more internal rotation, let's hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, let that block come down, have a little shake out. Okay, lengthen your left leg, roll onto your side. You can rest your head or you can rest it on your arm, whatever you prefer. Right leg's going to come over. You might be able to have that flat, you might not be. It doesn't really make a difference. Just let that be solid and stable on the ground. You can hold the leg. Line yourself up so you're straight. So you're not kinking at the hips. You're not kind of folded in any way. Try and keep your body as straight as possible. We're going to take some leg lifts. So we're lifting up that right leg. And as we do so, just be aware of what your leg is doing. So we don't want the knee to roll up to the sky. We want the toes, the knee, the thigh, all to be facing the long end of the mat and not change as we lift up. So get nice and stable, holding on wherever you need to hold on. Glutes are on, lift up the leg. Hold, 3, 2, 1, release, nice and slow. So we're not just flipping it down. Slow control up and down. Lift up, 3, 2, 1, release down, nice and slow. And again, lift up, 3, 2, 1. All right, twice more, lifting up, 3, 2, 1, release. And again, lifting up, 3, 2, 1, shin, knee, thigh, foot. Everything is pointing to the long end of the mat. Release, all right. Let's do a little bit of pulsing here to really wake up the inner thigh muscles. So set yourself up, make sure you're nice and straight. Everything is in that long line. Let's lift up, pulsing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let that foot come down. Have a little rest on your back. You can shake out the legs if you wish. Let's cross that left ankle over, figure 4. Without using the hands, let's bring the knees towards the chest. So we're getting that external rotation through left leg, that knees pushing away. We're squeezing that right thigh towards tummy. Holding there, nice active stretch. Breathe in and out. Let that foot come to the ground. Arms by your side if they're not there already. Tuck the shoulders under. Push down through the foot. Slowly roll up the spine to this figure 4 bridge. Keep your hips balanced, square, stable, whatever you need to do so we're not kind of rocking to one side. Lift. Breathing in, glutes are on. We're still trying to get that external rotation through the left leg. Slowly roll yourself down onto your back. Uncross the legs, and it might be windshield wipers on this side. All right, roll yourself onto your right side. Left leg is bent. Plant that on the ground in front of your right leg. Nice, long, straight body. Everything's parallel to the long end of your mat, including that right leg. Let's lift up. Hold, 3, 2, 1, lower down. Again, lift up. 3, 2, 1, lowering down. Again, lift up. 3, 2, 1. Twice more. Holding, find that max lift. And again, your sides might feel a little bit different. Beautiful. Last time. Lifting up. All right. Lowering the leg down. Set yourself up again. Make sure you're nice and straight. You haven't moved off of that long line. We're going to pulse. Let's lift up. Keeping knee, shin, foot. Everything is staying pointing to the mat. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, relaxing down, roll into your back, shake out the legs, windshield wipers if you need. All right, let's do that figure 4 on the other side. So crossing that right ankle over left thigh. Sorry, right ankle over left thigh, yeah. Let's work the right thigh away, external rotation. Without using the hands, legs are going to come in towards the body. Squeeze. Keep working external rotation on this side. Nice, juicy stretch for the outer thighs. In and out through the nose. Slowly lowering the legs down. Keep the figure 4 shape. Hands are going to come down to the mat. Tuck the tailbone under, slowly lift up. Figure 4 bridge. Keep working external rotation on that right side. Don't lose that as we lift the hips up. In and out through the nose. Lowering down, uncross the legs, have a little shake out. All right. From here, laying on your back, take a little roll up. Maybe a few rocks and rolls as you wake up the spine. Moving any props or anything out of the way. Standing at the top of your mat. Standing tall. Let's reach the arms up. We're going to fold forward, so hinge at the hips, long spine to that point where the spine can't be long anymore, and then let that rounding happen. Lift yourself up halfway again. Round down. Lift up halfway again. Rounding down. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Coming to standing. And so standing on your right leg, let's lift the left leg up. And you can use your hand to hold onto the knee here. Squeeze it in, stand tall. Pressing down a lot through that right leg. The leg doesn't have to be locked out straight. As you activate the hamstring, you might notice there's a bit more of a bend in the knee. We want to make sure that muscle is on rather than just kind of bending the knee for the sake of it. Take a little twist. So I'm going to hold onto my knee with my right hand, twist towards the left. Just the upper body, my hips are staying towards the front top of the mat. You can take your left hand behind you if you wish. Sweeping that arm forward, face the front of the mat. Let's find a little internal rotation. So knee is going to be parallel with hip. Begin to roll that knee in. You know, working that as much as we can, keeping those 90-degree angles. And as we change our position, you might notice that you have more or less rotation. From here, take that leg, sweep it around. Let's find a nice little short lunge. Okay, so maybe about a third or half of what you would normally take in our lunge position. You can come closer if you wish. We're going to play with rocking onto that big toe edge again, internally rotating the leg and back out. In again. So it's that right leg that's coming in and out. And again. Lovely. And so this might kind of feel a little bit funny, but this internal rotation is a completely normal range of motion. So we just want to warm up all those muscles, tendons that are used for this. Last time in. Beautiful. Take a little bit of a longer step. Press down through the feet, squeeze the feet together so we get that squaring off of the hips. You can take the arms up into the air if you wish. You might find a little tuck of the tailbone to help really stretch out the front of that back leg. Begin to tip yourself forward, finding that 45-degree angle, reaching forward. Let's shift our weight, lift up the back leg, finding a little warrior three position. Hands can be out, or you can move them down if you wish. Find a lift through that back leg. Let's see if we can play with that internal rotation. So as we lift the leg, roll that leg in. So it's moving as one piece. It's not kind of like ankle, knee, everything together. It's engaged. It's working as one piece from the hip down, internally rotate as we tip forward. Breathing in and out. And let's open up that hip. Find a warrior two, slow, controlled landing. Adjust your feet as you need, facing the long end of the mat, arms to shoulder height. And again, we're finding that external rotation as we corkscrew down through that right heel, reaching the arms. Front palm to the sky, tip back, reverse, keeping that front leg pressing into the ground. We're not losing any of that integrity and shifting our weight back. Keep it all solid through the feet. Come into side angle, right hand's going to come to thigh, reach the arm overhead, as much space as you can in the neck so we're not collapsing. Press down. Let's lift up, take one love as we pivot the feet, external rotation, little bit of a back bend if you wish, glutes are on. And then we're going to bend into goddess, sink down nice and low. And you can have a little shift here in your first goddess, left to right. Sink into some stillness, goddess pose, glutes are on, corkscrew through both heels. In and out. Sinking down. Extend up, one love again. Warrior two to the back. Spin the palm, reverse. And then side angle to the back. Sweep your arm forward and let's step in so we're setting up for warrior one, facing the back of the mat. Interlace the hands behind you, humble warrior as you tip down. Both feet working again, don't lose the back foot, pressing that down. Head is nice and heavy here. Release the hands down to the ground. Bend your back knee. So we're coming into like this little low lunge and you're going to kick the ankle off. So right ankle off the long end of the mat. Lift up, mini warrior two. And here, let's plant that right hand down. You can always grab a block if you need to. Reach over. So we've got that external rotation through left leg. That heel's corkscrewing down, that leg is opening up. Lift up. Slow, lower down to your seat. So you're going to counterbalance by shifting your weight forward as your hips go back. Sitting down. Finding yourself in this kind of half straddle position. Turn your tummy towards your right knee. Take a side body stretch. You can plant your left hand wherever you like. Lift up. We're going to find stargazer as you plant right hand, rock onto your shin, squeeze the glutes as you press the hip forward, maybe a little lean back, maybe it's more of a side bend for you. Whatever you do, push into the ground a lot with your right hand so we're not sinking into that shoulder. Slow, sit your bottom down the same way that you came back in. If you can, we're going to shift our weight forward. See if we can rock ourselves up into that mini warrior two position. You can always heel through your foot in a little closer like I did. Mini warrior two. Hands down to the inside of the left foot. Let's find lizard. Back knee lifted or not, it's up to you. And so you might want to take this chance to warm up the wrists a little bit, rocking the wrists in fists, or just kind of adding a little bit of planting of the hands in different positions. First time we're loading the wrists, so you can always bring your back knee in a little bit closer if it's a little bit too much on the wrist off the first thing. All right, plant your hands, lift the back knee if it's not already, and let's sweep that back leg up, three-legged dog. Let's find internal rotation through that left leg. Breathing in and out. Sweeping that leg forward, planting. And let's set ourselves up for a lift. So kind of like a halfway lift as we step up and float the back right foot. You can have your hands down towards the ground, maybe grab a block here. But we're going to begin to lift the torso up so that we're coming into a warrior three. Again, let's internally rotate that right leg. Begin to come to standing. Bring that right leg in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze, standing tall. And now we're standing on the left leg. So we might find that we've got that little bend in the knee. Whatever we're doing, pressing down through the standing leg. Let's find the twist. Hold onto the right leg with the left hand. Maybe reach the right hand back behind you. That upper body twist. Hips are staying pointing to the back of the mat. Take one more breath. Release from the twist. We're going to step that leg back. Again, it's just that little tiny half third of your lunge. We're going to begin to rock that foot in. And against that internal rotation, the whole leg is moving in. We're going 5-ish times here. And you can change how much weight you're adding in or how much load you're putting into that front leg by leaning more back, or leaning forward, taking a shorter or a longer step. Okay. Let's find our warrior three here as we tip forward. We're going to reach the arms out, and again, let's find that internal rotation. So we're really trying to roll that whole right leg, starting from the hip bone internally. Keep that action of rolling internally as we try and lift up a little bit higher. That back leg working just as much as the front to create that lift and balance. Let's begin to open up, stepping into our warrior two. Adjust your feet as you land. Breathing in and out. Palm to the sky, tip back, reverse. Side angle. Lots of space here. As we lift up one leg, pivot both feet externally, a little bit of a chest lift, glutes are on, and then sink down into your goddess. If your goddess feels super comfortable or you're looking for a little bit more challenge, let's lift up the heels, but keep the hips where they are. So don't pop up in the heels if you're popping the heels up. Just the heels lift, nothing else moves. Breathing in and out. In and out. One love again. Warrior two to the front of the mat. onto the sky reverse. Really take that side body stretch. That front foot, that right foot is still working really hard here. Side angle. Don't lose the weight in that back foot as we shift up, our weight to the front of the mat. Nice long line. Pivoting. We're coming into that low lunge. We're going to open up our mini warrior two. Hand to the back of the mat, side angle. Or reverse. As we lift up, we're going to slowly sit ourselves down again, using that counterbalance and extend the leg. Use a prop underneath your bottom if you need to, but turn your torso so belly button pointing towards that bent knee. And take a side body stretch here, reaching over. I like to dig the heel of the extended leg in and almost feel like I'm trying to drag it back so they get extra work through the hamstring and through that thigh. Again, hand can be wherever you feel most comfortable. Let's shift stargazer, right hand to the ground, lift up. Sitting yourself down. And you might bring that foot to the ground. We're going to shift up, find our mini warrior two. And then keep pivoting so the hands come to the inside for our lizard position. Back knee lifted or not. If you're super comfortable in your lizard, you might want to come down a little bit lower or onto blocks. Maybe take the hands wider than your mat. Up the back toe, lift three-legged dog, sweeping that right leg up. And again, we're going to work that internal rotation. So foot flexed or pointed, whatever you're working with, but try and roll the whole leg internally. Lifting up as you do so. So see how this feels different perhaps to your regular three-leg variation. Sweep and step that leg forward, lift the back leg up. Maybe your block here as we kind of find that internal rotation and lift, chest lifts. See if you can find a variation of warrior three here, maybe arms out or at the heart center, but really let's work that internal rotation. Come up to standing, feet on the mat. Have a little roll through standing. Chair pose, bending into the knees, sink down. Push down through your right leg a lot, cross left ankle over. You can create a little kickstand or wrap around if you wish. Sink down even lower for your eagle variation. If you want to add the arms as well, we've got right elbow on top with arms wrapped or giving yourself a hug. Press the forearms, press the elbows away. Get nice and deep into the shoulder blade. Release the arms. Let's step ourselves back into downward facing dog. Ripple forward plank. Bend the knees, hover, turbo tabletop here. Hovering the knees just inches off the ground. Lower the knees down, untuck the toes. Sitting down on your knees here, kneeling position. If you like, you can slip a block in. That's more comfortable. Nice long spine. Play with the position of the pelvis here, tipping forward, tucking, neutral, where is comfortable for you. And this is our prep for our hero pose. Let's lift up. Coming onto that right knee, lift and extend the left leg. See if you can plant it down. Begin to tip forward for your half split, and you might want to grab the blocks here to help you out. Long spine. I again like to dig that heel in and almost like I'm trying to drag it back. You might want to play with this nice folded rounded back variation as well. Low lunge, shifting. Tuck the back toe, lift up, nice long run lunge. Arms might extend up towards the sky. Tip yourself forward. Let's shift the weight so you can come up to standing. Ooh, see if you can grab a hold of that leg standing tall. Breathing in and out. And let that foot come down to the ground and let's sink into chair once again. This time as you plant down through left foot, let's wrap a right leg around or a kickstand. Left arm is going to be on top, sink low. Squeeze the legs together and get your hips and butt low to the ground. Send that center of gravity down. Take one more breath. So we lift up. Step yourself back, downward facing dog. Ripple forward to plank. Hover the knees just above the ground. Turbo tabletop. If it's too much, bring the knees down, of course. Drop the knees down. So here you might want to take the knees wide. You might want blocks or props handy because we're going to see if we can sink the hips down in between the feet for hero pose. We can always bring the ground up a little bit higher or take that kneeling position that we practiced before. Some people like to take something and have it in between the thigh and the knee, kind of where the knee is, to give your knee joint a little bit more space. See what works for you here. High knee is also an option if this is a really deep internal hip rotator for you. Breathing in. Up to high knees. Bring those ankles back in line. We're going to press down through left leg, lift and extend right leg. Begin to tip forward for our runner's lunge here. Squeezing, I like to push down, squeeze in, add a little bit more juiciness to the stretch. So even with these shapes that might be a little bit new, particularly with internal hip rotation, they might kind of bring up these ideas of doubt and worry because they're so infrequently used for most people in our day-to-day life. So this is where we can kind of call on that Hanuman. These moments where we're kind of like, oh, I'm not so sure about this. Let yourself be reassured that if we move through these ranges with a little bit more caution, a little bit more awareness, our body will feel like, hey, it's okay to be in these shapes. It's not a dangerous shape to be in if we listen to the cues of our body. Breathing through once more as we shift into our low lunge. I like to engage the glutes here, really get a little bit of extra juiciness through that back thigh. Tuck the back toe, lift the leg, really press the knee to the sky. Let's shift forward, see if we can bring that knee in. Pushing down through that front leg a lot, and you'll really be able to tell the difference between left and right here. And how bubbly or not you are. Leg down to the ground, have a little shake out. All right. Reach the arms up. Let's fold forward. Halfway lift. Stepping back. You're going to lower down your weight. If you like to have that nice slow lower or bring the knees to the ground if you can. Little back bend here. And lower down onto your tongue. Tuck the tailbone under a little bit. Press down through the top of the foot where the toes meet the foot. Keep pressing through that left foot, lift the right foot up. Hold that place where it is kind of at its max lift. Keep engaging through the glutes, keep pressing down, release the leg. Let's switch sides. So press down through the top of the right foot, lift up the left. Breathing in and out. Release. Good. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out, hips a little shake out. Let's take this to the other side. You can have your hands under your head. If that doesn't work for you, place them wherever is most comfortable. Glutes are on, let's lift up. Lifting the legs, trying to keep them both lifted at the same height. Point or flex the feet, whatever you enjoy. Legs are active though. And release down, have a little shake out. One last time, we're going to press back into hero or into that kneeling position, whatever you prefer. Breathing in and out as you find your shape. And then walk the hands forward. Let the hips shift, find child's pose. Let's take the legs a little bit wider if that feels comfortable. You can maybe take the ankles a little wider as well so that the shins are parallel. It's going to give a nice juicy stretch to those inner thighs. We're going to start to wind down and find our yin practice here. So if you want something underneath your tummy, underneath your head, please set that up for yourself as we kind of enter our slower pace here. Hands can be wherever you like. This is a nice juicy stretch for the inner thighs, the groins, maybe some of the low back, maybe into those outer hips as well. Nice soft belly, relaxed through the face, the arms. Breathing in and out. And so Hanuman is known to be a fierce warrior. He's known to be a little bit cheeky at times, particularly in his younger days. But he's completely and utterly devoted. And so he's devoted. And we can take that devotion to mean many things. Devoted to his gods. But it also can be this devotion to his learning, our learning. Devotion to our higher self and practices that nourish ourselves. And even those moments of self-doubt, when we're approaching something hard or difficult, knowing that like Hanuman, we can do hard things. We can do things that are tough, we can do things that are challenging. We can take those leaps. Even when there is that little bit of fear, worry, of hesitation. We have a little under 1 minute left here. And letting the breath deepen. And rippling forward slowly. It might feel nice to lay on your tummy. It might feel nice to kind of take a cobra. Stillness or movement, as always, as we're practicing in, honor your body and what feels most appropriate for you. We're going to come into our dragon next. So start wherever you like, whichever side. We're going to do them both. And your dragon might be more of a lunge, or it might be something that resembles a little bit more of a lizard. Completely up to you. Set yourself up so that you can find a shape that feels comfortable. Ideally, we just want something that's going to stretch that back leg. That's going to help with our saddle pose or our hero pose. So it doesn't matter too much what your front leg is doing in terms of angle, if it's out to the side. If it's out to the side in that kind of more flying dragon, you might even get a little bit more juicy stretch through that inner thigh. So that is an option for you if you wish to go there. It might feel nice to create a little nest for your head so that you can cradle it so that it can get really heavy and you can sink into the shape. Breathing in and down. Finding a shape where your body is able to pause, find some sense of ease, perhaps some stillness. We're still getting that nice juicy stretch, working into the joints, helping to lubricate. You might notice as we kind of release that puffiness, that heat that generates from that release, from coming out of a position that we've held for some time. Find a shape where there is no gripping, no holding, no tension. You can let yourself be really heavy and floppy in this shape. Using that breath, feel your body softening and sinking deeper and deeper into this shape. A little under 1 minute left here. Letting your breath deepen. Take time, find some ease as you release. It might feel nice to rock and shift. We're going to sit on our bottom next. So transition, if you can, by rocking so that you're sat on your bottom. I like to stick a block and have that option there. So kind of in this half kneeling position with that leg, the top of the foot down. If you're comfortable without a block, by all means, rock into that kind of half hero foot right here, where the foot is out to the side. You might stay quite upright in this position. You might want to fold to yourself forward. So it might be like a half kneeling, sat on the foot and sat on a block, or with that foot out to the side, folding yourself forward. If you want that extended leg, might have something underneath the knee so that we're not getting that kind of twitchy engagement of the quad. Maybe there's a little nest for your head, cradle. And if you have a bolster or something a bit heavy, you can just put it across two bricks so that you create a little table or a shelf for yourself to rest as well. You can always let your head hang down. Don't worry too much about the rotation of that extended leg. It might kind of splay out to one side or another. Let it do its thing. So in all these shapes, there's no pain, there's no tension. Feel perhaps a little uncomfortable. We're not crossing that border into something that is unbearable, unmanageable. We can breathe through. Still feels quite pleasant in that discomfort. And we're going to use this sensation as an example of sitting through those moments where we are unsure, or we are about to take that leap, a little bit uncomfortable, knowing that we've practiced here with that physical sensation, discomfort, using what we've learned, how we feel, how we manage here, and taking that with us off the mat when, like Hanuman, we are faced with those challenges. We have a little under 1 minute left here, if you're able to stay. And be prepared to shift, let your breath deepen. Take your time as you unfold, if you fold it over. It might feel nice to kind of press the hands behind you and lift up the hips a little bit, just to kind of stretch out the front of the body and give a little bit of a stretch to that front thigh. Moving in any way that feels good though. Let's take our dragon or lizard or twisted dragon, whatever we're working with today, to the other side. Setting yourselves up and finding a shape that's comfortable. Maybe easing yourself deeper as your body begins to open up. No pressure to get super deep or kind of start in that position that you finished on the other side. Let your body work its way there naturally. Breathing through the shape, letting your body find that sense of ease. Honoring your body, honoring the sensations, and allowing your shape to adjust as the sensation develops. You're not stuck in any of these shapes. You can move, you can adjust, you can stop, you can come back in. About a minute left here. Taking your time. With ease, shifting out of that shape. Moving in any way that feels good. And again, we're finding that kind of half kneeling, leg extended with the block under the bum, or that half saddle shape with the foot up to the side. You might sit, and you might fold forward. Your choice here again. Again, this side might feel a little bit different to the first side. Working with where you are here. Setting up your props, sinking into the shape. Let your body be soft and heavy. Letting the breath deepen. As you unfold, maybe the hands come behind the hips and a little lift up of the hips, stretching at the top of that bent leg side. Any other movements that feel good? We're going to set up for our saddle. So again, you might take the option with both feet out. You might sit up on a block, have the legs in a little bit closer, a bolster as well. Take a nice kind of more restorative variation. You can always have things underneath the calf and legs. If you want to take it a little bit further, you might kneel back. You might even lay all the way down. So begin to find your variation, the one that works for you. Knowing that this is our final shape before we get to rest. Even with that knowledge, honoring that yin practice, honoring what feels good, honoring working within the edge. Finding something that is pleasant, comfortably uncomfortable, where there is no strain, no force. Be guided by your intuition. What feels right in your body, and working from there. Letting your breath deepen. And slowly making your way up, using your hands if you've laid down. Take a few moments to find anything that feels good in your body. And then set yourself up for your variation of Shavasana. So that might be laying down, that might be seated, that might be on your tummy. Whatever's going to work for you so that you are able to settle and relax. Let your eyes close down. Let your body soften. A sense of ease. As you scan through every part of your body and allow it to relax. The head, the face, the eyes, the jaw, the shoulders, the chest. The belly, the back, the arms and the hands. The hips and the glutes, the thigh, the calf, the ankle, the feet, the toes. Your whole body welcoming this sense of ease, of rest, completely relaxed. Letting your breath deepen. As your breath deepens, feel yourself beginning to reawaken. Your awareness growing. Perhaps finding some small movements, fingers, toes. Letting that movement grow and change into something larger and more intentional. And as you are ready, find a comfortable seated position. Let your hands fall wherever is comfortable for you. Letting this pause here be a gesture of gratitude for yourself, your body, the practice, for everything that you are capable of. Thanks for sharing your practice with me, and thank you for joining me these last 8 weeks for Myth and Asana.